Sky News commentator, contributor, Adrian Hayes. Adrian, great to lay eyes on you again. Should the King have moved earlier, do we think?
Yeah, good evening, Steve. Good evening to all your viewers and listeners. Look, the term, the artist formerly known as Prince has got a new take, the royal formerly known as Prince. I would say this is unprecedented, and the whole media reaction. It was surprising, but it's astonishing. It's never happened. Nothing like this has happened for hundreds of years. Even the late King Edward VIII, when he abdicated, he kept the title the Duke of Windsor when he emigrated to France with Wallis Simpson. So it's huge, and I think why the King has finally acted, because we've had this flurry of email disclosures coming through. I personally think there's probably some big things about to hit the screens or hit our networks. And it just became unprecedented. But there's one thing above all, it's the knowledge that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as he is now is, lied when he spoke to Emily Maitlis of that other channel and to other things. And this is what people don't like lies. I think he's finally had to hit the nuclear button to really put this hopefully at an end.
You've grown up, with it, witnessing and watching and reading the tabloids and the broadsheet papers about the royal family. Where did he rank in terms of popularity? Because from a distance and from someone who's covered royal tours out here in this country, he seemed to be, before this stuff came out, pretty popular. I mean, Adrian, he was a is it war hero too strong a term to use about him?
Well, he was. And Andrew Lowndes' book, The Rise and Fall of the House of York, sort of put this started this whole process. He came back from the Falklands, a war hero. He was known as Randy Andy for a while, but then he got this trade commissioner role. It's like so many roles. Prince Harry's another one. They leave the military, and that sort of whole sort of discipline and structure for them sort of gets a bit lost. He got known as Air Miles Andy, and simply, his fall was gradual, but it was after that interview on the BBC that, his relationships, his judgments were just so appalling, and this is where it really took a nosedive. Back in 2018, I think it was, when he did or 2019 when he did the interview. So his popularity has been waning for a long time, but it's just sank into freefall the last few years.
What would the public reaction in the UK be? I know you're visiting Dubai at the moment. What would be the reaction in amongst the general, probably older population about the fact that this has happened?
Well, his popularity is an all-time low. I think even lower than Harry. So there's no love lost for Andrew at all. In fact, or his wife. But having said this, look, it's strange when you look at the whole Epstein affair, which is obviously the litmus test for this all. Only one person's been prosecuted, Ghislaine Maxwell. Andrew's taken the fall as well, but there was a lot of names on the list, and it's quite astonishing that no one else has come to croppers because of what happened on that disgusting island many years ago.
Should Harry be worried if he now knows that that his family can start stripping titles off people when they don't think they should still have them?
We're looking at the commentaries on the newspapers today. So many of them say, Harry, watch out, you'll be next. Yes, he should. But of course, there's a little bit difference. And look, King Charles, and he's not the most popular people, but I've met him, by the way, and he's a sympathetic, he's a kind man. He doesn't do this lightly. And when it's his own son, of course, it would be very hard to go further than what he has already.
Donald Trump never fails to surprise us. He jumps on Air Force One, Adrian, after meeting with Xi, gets asked a question about nuclear weapons and says, well, we've got the biggest nuclear arsenal in the world and we don't test. Maybe we should be out there testing nuclear weapons. Well, the world went mad after that comment.
Yeah, look, anyone trying to commentate on the Trump presidency, you need to be the world's greatest diplomat, the world's greatest psychologist, and the world's greatest conflict negotiator, and a lot more to sort of try and understand it. Look, we all know he has an unorthodox way of diplomacy. It's very unpredictable. He blows hot and cold, but he's after the deal. He's passionate about the personal relationships, and as I said a couple of weeks ago, he does want to end wars and conflicts. This latest deal, the deal he did with Xi Jinping, was basically about cooling the temperature and doing some agreements. It was about fentanyl, soybeans, and rare earth minerals. But there's a bigger stake in the win for Trump. And as you said, the very next day, or the very day before, he's to announce he's retesting nuclear weapons. So you never know what you're going to get with him. But in some cases, give credit where it's due. He has achieved some big things.
Adrian, always good to catch up with you, my friend. Thanks. I'll talk to you again soon. That's Adrian from Dubai tonight.